Sorry guys, small interruption there. So our property is actually kind of pie shaped, so it's more narrow in the front out by the road, and then as we go out towards the back of our property here into the woods, it widens. So our property marker on that side is somewhere buried over there in the woods. I'm not even 100% sure where it is. I've actually never been able to find it, but it is quite wider back here. And then when I had spoken about where my dad was meant to meet me, everything's so overgrown now. Initially, the path was going to come, instead of making the corner where it did there, it was going to come along this way, right? And then sort of meander back around. It wasn't, because it's rather like a big large L, and I kind of wanted more of a meandering path through the woods, but it just, we would have had to chop down, see all these trees right here, like literally those would have had to come down and the woods would have been naked, and that's not what I want. So in all our digging and excavating and whatnot, I come across this rock, and I don't know, there's something about moss on a rock that I just absolutely love. This is a really big rock, and this moss is so soft. It's so beautiful, and this is it's nothing but rock back here, and it's a very old, gorgeous, natural looking, just sitting here rock. And when I found it, I said, okay, that's my dad's rock. He's going to stand at this rock, and my boys are going to walk me to him, and then the pathway will meander back around down here and end up at the gazebo. But it didn't end up working out that way, just simply because, as I said, we didn't want to like completely denude our forest. So I should stop and say here that one of my greatest fears, my dad was, as I said, quite unwell at the time of our wedding, and was particularly unwell that day. I was really afraid that he ended up having surgery about a month after our wedding. So I was really afraid that he may not be here for our wedding. He may not be around anymore. And that just, you know, I might as well lose one of my kids as soon as lose my dad. So I had this horrible fear. I'm just going to pan around and show you things here while I'm talking. I had this horrible fear that our wedding day was going to come and my dad wasn't going to be here, and I was going to get to the end of this path and look for my dad either, well, at that rock that didn't work out, or look for my dad. I think we had decided that he was maybe going to stand, you know, kind of by one of those trees right there or something, and that, you know, my boys would give me to him and we would carry on. And I had this horrible fear that my wedding day was going to come and my dad wasn't going to be here, and I was going to come down this path and not see him. So unbeknownst to me, he was quite ill that day. And my husband had said to, you know, his kids and my kids stuff, if anybody goes in the house and tells Kelly what's going on with her dad out here, I will fucking kill you. So nobody say a word. So Dad ended up being seated beside Mom, and if you watched my wedding videos, you'll see it. Look at the sun through the trees. Oh my God, it's just beautiful. Mosquitoes. It's September and I'm being eaten alive. So unbeknownst to me, I expected to see him standing here, and when I came down the path and got, you know, just kind of turned the corner, my dad wasn't there. And even though I knew that my father was here at the wedding, I had already seen him, of course, but all that fear just came flashing back that, oh my God, my dad, where's my dad, you know? So he was seated here. So my boys walked me over to my parents, and I gave them each a kiss, and then my boys walked me to the door of the gazebo. So this is our gazebo, and we built this ourselves out of all the wood from the woods, and I wanted it to look really organic. I wanted it to look really natural, like something that had just sort of sprung up from the ground around it. Do you know what I mean? It's built from the trees that are growing around it. So this is where all three of the girls, you can see where we filled in a lot of spots in the ground, and they're starting to cave in again. There's a lot of cracks in the rock back here. But again, I did all this sort of rock shelving just to mark, you know, because that drops right off back in there. So all three girls were stood here, and then On the other side of the gazebo, the 3 boys were stood over here, right? So there's a really pretty rock shelf here that I just absolutely love. And again, just, you know, natural formations that, you know, welcome to the woods in Ontario. Come vacation here, you will never be sorry. So, and look at this, just sort of rock ledge kind of thing here. Super pretty. And this tree that's right behind me, hang on, I gotta have to, ouch, Jesus, ow, walk up here. Man, I'm not good on uneven ground anymore, peeps. See this tree right here? Look at this sucker. This was not here. 3.5 years ago, there was not a tree here. I swear to God. So in that amount of time, this tree has grown up out of there. Again, life will always find a way. And as you see, there's kind of a little wall of rock, again, sort of dividing, you know, sort of the ceremony space. So the boys were all standing. Sorry, guys, I got it. Oh, my God. Oh, Lord, help us, everyone. So the boys were all standing here. So, my boys had walked me over to the, sorry, this is kind of shaky, guys, because I'm walking on really uneven ground, and it's not easy anymore. So, we had thought about putting opening the doorway to the gazebo in, hang on here. Oh, it just worked out better for us that it was inside. We thought about putting the boys walked me to here. Fonz was waiting right here beside my parents. So they actually gave me to Fonz there, I'm sorry, and then they went over here and took their places, and then Fonz and I walked to the gazebo together, which again really made me cry, because I had said to him, you know, the fall before, when my dad was really unwell and I was, you know, so worried that he wouldn't be here, he said, if your dad isn't there, honey, I will meet you. The boys will bring you to me. I will meet you where your dad was supposed to be standing, and we'll walk to the gazebo together. And that's actually exactly what ended up happening. But my father was here, thank God. Okay, so see, our property line goes down there. It's hard to see from here. Kind of hard for you to see. Well, there's the end of the white rope, and it's just in behind that where it ends. So we actually go down over this, and this is quite a drop, peeps. I mean, I know it doesn't look like much here, and that's all a tangled mess back in there because we just didn't bother. But anyway, so here is the doorway of the gazebo, right? So we walked in here, and our officiant was waiting here for us, and here we are in our gazebo. So this is absolutely stunning. Again, it's a little bit later in the evening than it would have been during our wedding, so there was more light, there was more sunlight coming through the trees. Our wedding day was just like this, just like this. It was absolutely stunning. I had some twine balls hanging from there, and that metal bit there was covered. You couldn't really see it. So yeah, here's what the whole thing looks like. Right? Beautiful, isn't it? It was so much fun building our own gazebo. Look at the moss that's grown there. Isn't that gorgeous? But yeah, this is the whole thing, guys. So this is where our wedding took place. And that tree, this tree right here in front of us, it looks kind of stupid, like cut off like that. Last year, no, a few years ago now, because I know Fonz was still well then, we had a really bad snowstorm, I think, and we looked down here, and this tree here had snapped off, kind of. It was a really tall, that's a cedar, really tall tree, and it was laying right over the roof of the gazebo, which is not that thick. Those pieces there are not that thick. Oh my God, it's going to break it. So he come down here with the chainsaw, and he just kind of hacked her off there. One of these days he'll come down and hack it off at the base where you can't really, you know, see it too much anymore. But anyhow, yes, this is our woods. This is where we got married. And isn't it absolutely glorious? One of the nicest comments that I had made after the wedding was a friend of mine that I worked with said to me that it felt like a wedding in the woods where she expected fairies to pop out from behind the trees and stuff. Like it was just magical. And that was kind of what I was going for, this magical Lilacs and lace in the woods. That's what it was all about. That was the theme. So there we have it, people. There is our gorgeous wedding spot. So thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to like this video and like it and share it if you're watching this on my personal Facebook blog page, and please like the video and hit that subscribe button down below if you're watching it on YouTube, and hit the little bell icon so that you don't miss anything of my next videos. Anyway, thank you guys for walking through the woods with me. Love you. Bye.